I just saw a video from a lovely creator on this app. I can't remember her handle. But she was just sharing her experience with a private fertility clinic, and she was saying how like it was terrible, and basically this clinic had terrible like bedside manner. The doctor was a dickhead, rude and unnecessary. But one of the things that she was upset about was the fact that this doctor was recommending them to do a really expensive DNA fragmentation test. And if you have been following our story for a long time, you may know that that's the point where we're at with our journey here now. And I wanted to create this video to not throw shade at her at all, but to rather just like remind us that sometimes the things that we are seeing online or the things that we're being told in a clinic is more so like we don't have the context as to how this relates to us or how this can affect our journey. Because for her, what was a terrible experience or a terrible advice was like the thing that would have been the saving grace in our journey, right? And so I've also shared on this account that I am so grateful that somebody else on this app shared their experience with DNA fragmentation, how they resolved it, that it was even a thing. And I don't think I would be at where we're at in our journey if it wasn't for seeing that one piece of content. And so I just feel like I had to speak to it because, one, I think what we need to demand more from our clinics is context to the things that they're telling us. Because I feel like from watching that girl's video, I feel like she's somewhere in Northern England. I live in England, I live in the South, but I'm still not the best with everybody's accents to tell exactly where they're from. But from what I'm hearing in her video, is that she could have really benefited from having some context to why a DNA fragmentation test was being recommended to her. And equally, I feel like in our particular situation, I wish that our clinic, even though a DNA fragmentation test at our clinic is 100 euros, 100 euros, like I wish that our clinic had said, hey, you mentioned that Paul has a varicocele. That is one freaking red flag. 2, his morphology is slightly lower and his results are suboptimal. That should have been indication to at least tell me about a DNA fragmentation test and give me the context of why I need a DNA fragmentation test. Because I think the other thing that has me feeling so convicted about like the video that I just saw is the amount of misinformation in the comments. And I commented our experience, not that our experience has to be this girl's experience, but there's so many people saying just do ICSI. ICSI does not solve it. Like ICSI can give you a better chance because most likely if you do ICSI and the DNA fragmentation is bad, it may not result in a embryo. But in our situation, again, not that our situation is going to be everybody else's situation, but again, this is why I'm saying context flippin' matters on this journey. And like when you're taking advice from somebody or reading advice and stuff, like context matters, is that in our situation, my egg quality has compensated for the DNA damage in the sperm. And so we make embryos, or, you know, it's been 2 years since we did our last egg retrieval, but I can make embryos. They will not result in a viable pregnancy. And if by chance the embryologist has chosen a sperm that doesn't have the DNA damage, that is an embryo that may work, right? But when they weren't even looking for the DNA damage, we're just guessing. We're just guessing, right? And because they didn't even think that there was DNA damage there, because his results were normal, because a semen analysis doesn't show DNA damage, there was no, is it Zymot? Zymot wasn't offered. And so I'm looking forward to wrapping this up. I'm looking forward to infertility clinics, fertility clinics, raising the bar on what they do on the male aspect of things, because I feel like how the hell do you even diagnose something when you are not looking at all of the variables that you have in front of you? I feel like until they start doing that, I feel like the fertility industry is super crooked. Like super not right. And until like even like a DNA fragmentation test, I heard Dr. Ramsey, who's our urologist, I'm pretty sure, oh my god, my contact just came out because I rubbed my eye. Hold on. I can't remember if it was Dr. Ramsey who said this, like I heard it with my own ears and his own mouth, or it was some girls, maybe on the Am I Overreacting podcast, saying that Dr. Ramsey was saying that the cost of a DNA fragmentation test is like the same cost as an arthritis test, so not that much. I'm really looking forward to people continuing to make a noise about male fertility, DNA fragmentation, and so that this can be something that is offered at the same time as a semen analysis, because what is the point in putting people forward for IVF if that isn't even looked at? And if you can't see the DNA damage by the semen analysis, how are you actually diagnosing something? Like, it's crazy to me. Dr. Ramsey was on Good Morning this week. I don't know when you guys are going to see this video, but he was on Good Morning this week. And because at the time of me filming this, it was like when there was that sperm race thing. And as much as I think that sperm race thing was like totally gimmicky, I'm hoping it gets the conversation going and people can get sprinkled in facts about sperm quality, sperm health, etc. And I would love to see, if they do another season of that they explain, like, how did they pick the individuals that they picked to be on that show to do the sperm race, right? Because no amount of healthy eating and healthy lifestyle will help someone's sperm if they don't produce it, will help someone's sperm if they've got a blockage with a varicocele, like in our situation, or if they've got a bacterial infection down there. It's not as simple as just eating good and working out and not vaping and not smoking. Obviously, those things help, but you have to even know that you're in the running. And if you've got certain things that are preventing you from even being in the running, then you're not in the running, are you? So, yes. Long rant, but I just had to get it off my chest. I'm gonna go back to work now.